Hey, quiet warriors. Discipline isn't just routines, or lists, or waking up early. It's the shape of your inner world. It's the way you hold yourself together when life tries to scatter you into pieces. And if you've been feeling unfocused, restless, or pulled in 100 directions, it's not because you're weak. It's because you've been living without a structure that protects your mind. Without a personal code that keeps you aligned. When there's no inner order, your thoughts begin to drift, your days lose their weight, and slowly, without realizing it, you start to feel disconnected from who you're supposed to be. The Stoics understood this centuries before modern science gave it a name. They knew that motivation comes and goes, but a personal law stays. They didn't depend on moods. They didn't wait for perfect moments. They built a way of living that steadied them no matter what storms came. Marcus Aurelius wrote reminders to himself every morning to stay centered. Epictetus taught that a person without self-mastery becomes controlled by every impulse. Seneca warned that the greatest waste is a life lived without direction. Because the truth is simple, if you don't govern your inner world, the outer world will. But the moment you begin choosing structure over chaos, intention over comfort, and presence over distraction, you become someone difficult to shake. Someone grounded. Someone powerful. That's what discipline really is. Not cold routines. Not punishment. Something alive. Something that makes you clearer, calmer, stronger. This isn't about tricks or quick fixes. It's about reshaping the way you live. Whether you're a creator, a student, an entrepreneur, or someone simply trying to keep your life from slipping away, these 12 Stoic principles will help you rebuild your mind from the inside out. They're not rules to impress anyone. They're reminders of who you can be when you stop living on autopilot and start living with intention. You don't have to feel ready. You don't have to wait for some spark to begin. You just take one step. Especially when it's uncomfortable. Especially when no one sees it. Because real discipline is quiet. It doesn't need attention. It shows up, again and again, until one day you realize your life has changed not because you tried harder, but because you became someone who honors their own path. Subscribe and let's dive in. Number 1, discipline is self-respect made visible. Ask yourself honestly, how do you show up when there's no spotlight, no pressure, no expectations? Not when someone is watching. Not when you're trying to impress. I'm talking about the moments no one ever sees. The quiet choices. The decisions made in silence. That's where the truth of your discipline lives. Not in dramatic gestures, but in the unseen crossroads where you choose between comfort and growth. People think discipline is harsh, or rigid, or joyless. But real discipline is an act of respect. It's choosing what strengthens you over what pulls you back. It's choosing long-term alignment over short-term relief. When you honor your commitments to yourself, you're saying, my life matters. My potential matters. My time matters. Epictetus said, no man is free who is not master of himself. If you don't master your impulses will master you. And you begin to live reacting instead of choosing. You become controlled by whatever mood is loudest that day, whatever craving pulls you, whatever distraction shows up first. Over time, you start losing trust in yourself. Not because you're incapable, but because you keep abandoning your own standards. But discipline rebuilds that trust brick by brick. The morning you get up even though you're tired. The moment you walk away from a temptation even when everyone else leans into it. The day you follow through on a promise even though no one would know if you didn't. These moments seem small, but they are the foundation of who you become. Discipline teaches others how to treat you. When you respect your own time, people begin to respect it too. When you hold your own boundaries, people start noticing. When you keep your word to yourself, your voice carries a quiet authority. Not arrogance. Alignment. But discipline also exposes your truth. It shows you where you've been making excuses. Where you've been lying to yourself. Where you've been relying on later. It forces you to stop imagining your potential and start living it. That's why many people avoid it. Because discipline confronts you with the gap between who you are and who you could be. A Stoic doesn't wait for motivation. They act because it's right. They act because their future deserves more than their excuses. Every disciplined choice is a vote for the person you want to become. And you don't have to start with something huge. You start with one promise kept. One decision made with intention. One moment where you choose alignment over convenience. That's how you reclaim your strength. That's how you become someone you trust again. Because the real flex isn't waking up early. It's keeping your word when no one is around. It's building a self you don't run from. A self you're proud to stand with. That's the kind of discipline that changes your life. Number 2, build discipline that matches your nature. Not all discipline works for everyone. And the biggest mistake people make is trying to copy someone else's system. You see someone waking up at 4 a.m., taking cold showers, doing a long routine, and you think that's what strength looks like. But if that rhythm suffocates you, drains you, or makes you resent yourself, it's not your rhythm. It's borrowed. And borrowed discipline always breaks. The Stoics never believed that everyone should live the same way. Marcus Aurelius lived like an emperor. Epictetus lived like a slave. Seneca lived like a statesman and philosopher. Their lives were nothing alike, but their principles were the same: build a life that aligns with your nature, not someone else's. Imagine two people, one thrives in structure, tight schedules, early days, disciplined routines. Another thrives in creative flow, deep evenings, bursts of inspiration, long stretches of solitude. Both can be disciplined. Both can be strong. But their discipline must match who they are at their core. If you force yourself into a lifestyle that works against your temperament, you will always feel like you're failing, not because you're weak, but because the structure doesn't fit you. Discipline is not supposed to feel like a cage. It should feel like a framework that supports your mind, not suffocates it. Ask yourself, what kind of structure makes me come alive? Do I think clearly in the morning or at night? Do I focus best with long stretches of silence or short bursts of intensity? Do I need movement to start my day or stillness? The problem isn't always your willpower. Sometimes it's the wrong system. People judge themselves harshly because they can't stick to routines that were never meant for them. But discipline isn't about fitting into a trend. It's about building a personal law that works because it aligns with your wiring. Living according to your nature doesn't mean taking the easy path. It means taking the sustainable path. The one you can show up for even when life gets messy. Even when you're tired. Even when motivation disappears. If waking up at 5 a.m. destroys your focus but working at night lights your mind up, stop fighting your biology. If strict routines drain you but structured freedom keeps you moving, build around that. If you need checkpoints instead of hour-by-hour scheduling, honor that. Stoicism is not about copying. It's about self-awareness. And discipline becomes powerful when you stop pretending to be someone else and start building around who you really are. When you find a rhythm that aligns with your design, discipline stops feeling like a battle. It becomes the environment you thrive in. You stop relying on willpower. You start relying on alignment. Number 3, without order, you pay in silence. Chaos rarely announces itself dramatically. It creeps in quietly. A pile of clothes you'll handle later. A task you postpone again. A message left unanswered. A goal you keep delaying because it feels overwhelming. These small acts of disorder don't feel dangerous in the moment, but together they begin to weigh you down. The Stoics saw disorder not just as a physical state, but as a mental one. Clutter in your environment creates clutter in your thinking. When your time is unstructured, your emotions become reactive. When your days lack rhythm, your mind loses clarity. Seneca warned that it's not that life is short, it's that we waste so much of it through unconscious drift. And the danger is subtle. You don't feel the consequences right away. Disorder punishes slowly. It drains your focus quietly. It steals your momentum silently. You don't collapse in one moment. You erode little by little. You check your phone first thing in the morning. You skip the one habit that grounds you. You push an important task just one more day. You do what's easy instead of what's meaningful. And nothing breaks immediately. But something inside you does. And because nothing explodes, you continue drifting. This is why structure matters. Not to control every minute. Not to live rigidly. But to protect your mind from a world that never stops pulling at you. When your time has no direction, everything loud and urgent will decide for you. Distractions don't wait for permission. Notifications don't ask if you're available. And impulses never knock politely. Order is not restriction. It's protection. It's the container that keeps your mind from scattering. It's the boundary that keeps your energy from leaking. A morning routine is a form of order. So is a weekly reflection. So is turning off your phone during deep work. These aren't rules. They're barriers against chaos. Order gives you presence. Presence gives you clarity. Clarity gives you power. Ask yourself, what small forms of disorder have I been tolerating? What have I been avoiding? What weighs on me quietly every day? The goal isn't perfection. The goal is awareness. Because the longer you live without order, the heavier everything feels. Create order not to impress anyone, but to free yourself from the silent suffering that comes from living in mental and emotional noise. Number 4, success can make you soft. Stay sharp. Success is a quiet trap. It doesn't destroy you through failure, it destroys you through comfort. When you begin to win, when you begin to rise, when things start finally working, that's when discipline is most at risk. You work hard. You sacrifice. You build momentum. And then, as soon as you hit a milestone, your mind whispers, you've earned a break. Not a rest, a break from the very habits that built your progress. That's where the danger begins. Because when you start easing your standards, when you start relaxing the structure that held you together, you begin drifting without noticing. Comfort becomes your new normal. The urgency fades. The hunger softens. You start sleeping in a little longer. You skip one workout. You stop doing the reflection you once depended on. It feels harmless. But it's the beginning of decline. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. Despite being emperor, he wrote reminders to himself every day to stay disciplined, to stay humble, to stay awake. Why? Because he knew that power and comfort can lull the mind into laziness. Success can make you forget what built you. The truth is simple, what gets you to success is rarely what keeps you there. Discipline after momentum is harder than discipline after failure. When life is difficult, you fight. When life gets easy, you coast. And coasting is the silent killer of greatness. This doesn't mean you can't rest. Rest is necessary. But rest is not the same as surrender. Rest renews you. Surrender dulls you. The Stoics saw rest as intentional recovery, not emotional collapse. Rest when you choose to, not when your mind gives up. If you're in a season of success right now, raise your standards, don't lower them. Use your progress as fuel, not permission to drift. Success is a checkpoint, not a landing place. When you reach one level of growth, ask yourself, what part of me needs sharpening now? Where have I started slipping? What am I avoiding because things feel too comfortable? Sharpen yourself even when you feel ahead. Especially when you feel ahead. Because discipline built your momentum, and only discipline keeps it alive. Number 5, don't wait for motivation. Move without it. One of the biggest traps the mind creates is waiting to feel ready. We wait for inspiration, for the right mood, for the perfect time. We tell ourselves we'll start when we're clear-headed, when we're energized, when things settle down. But life rarely gives you those moments. And even when it does, they don't last. The Stoics never relied on emotion to make decisions. They relied on principles. They acted not because they felt great, but because the action was aligned with their values. Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. He didn't mention waiting for motivation. He mentioned commitment. Motivation is unpredictable. It fades quickly. It shows up without warning and disappears just as fast. If you depend on motivation to take action, you will live a life of hesitation. But here's the truth modern science confirms: motivation doesn't come before action. It comes after. The moment you begin is the moment your mind starts waking up. Starting is the hardest part, not doing. Think about a sculptor. They don't wait for inspiration every morning. They pick up the tools. They show up. And somewhere in the movement, creativity returns. The same is true for you. You don't wait to feel powerful. You move first. And the feeling follows. When you don't want to work out, wear your shoes and step outside. When you don't want to journal, open the page and write one sentence. When you don't want to face a task, set a 5-minute timer and begin. Action is the ignition. Emotion comes later. The Stoic mindset is simple: act on your principles, not your moods. Moods fluctuate. Principles don't. If you can learn to act regardless of how you feel, you become unstoppable. You become someone who doesn't wait for permission to show up. Ask yourself, what am I delaying simply because I don't feel ready? What would happen if I stopped negotiating with my feelings and started aligning with my values? When you act without waiting for motivation, you transform into someone rare, someone who moves with purpose, someone who doesn't need ideal conditions to show up. Because strength isn't built when it's easy. Strength is built in the moments you choose action over emotion. Number 6, live by conscious choice, not auto-reaction. Most people aren't living their own lives. They're repeating patterns they never questioned. They wake up and instantly respond to messages. They follow routines they didn't create. They chase goals that don't reflect who they actually are. They're reacting, not choosing. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This is the foundation of Stoic awareness. If you don't examine your behavior becomes your master. Many things we call personality are just unexamined habits. Maybe you avoid conflict because you were punished for speaking up. Maybe you overwork because you learned early that achievement equals approval. Maybe you hold yourself back because you were taught not to shine too brightly. The problem isn't that these patterns exist. The problem is you don't even notice them. Discipline at the highest level is awareness. It's pausing before reacting. It's questioning your defaults. It's asking yourself, is this choice coming from my truth, or from my fear? From my values, or from my conditioning? Most habits people believe they can't break are simply habits they never consciously examined. When you slow down, you begin seeing clearly. You begin noticing the emotional triggers behind your decisions. You begin recognizing the roles you learned growing up. You begin identifying which parts of your life are intentional and which are inherited. To live like a Stoic is to choose your actions, not drift into them. It means redesigning your routine so they reflect who you want to be, not who you used to be. It means replacing unconscious reactions with conscious decisions. In practice, this looks like small shifts. Instead of waking up and grabbing your phone, you start the morning with silence. Instead of reacting with anger, you pause and respond with clarity. Instead of saying yes because it's easier, you ask whether the request aligns with your values. These may seem small, but they reshape your identity over time. Ask yourself, where in my life am I still living by default? What choices am I making because they're familiar, not because they're right? What emotional habits have I accepted as just who I am, when they're really just unexamined patterns? When your actions come from presence instead of programming, you regain power over your life. You stop being controlled by your past. You start shaping your future. Number 7, what you do in private defines you in public. Real character isn't built on camera. It's built in silence, in the moments when no one is watching, no one is praising you, and no one is keeping track. The world sees the results. You see the process. Anyone can look disciplined when eyes are on them. Anyone can talk about their goals publicly. Anyone can share quotes and appear motivated. But who you are when you close the door, when your phone is silent, when there's no applause, that's who you truly are becoming. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself privately, not for admiration but for alignment. He knew that the position he held could corrupt him if he wasn't careful. He reminded himself daily to stay disciplined, patient, and grounded. Not for show. For his soul. There's a confidence that comes only from private integrity. When you keep your word when no one would know otherwise, you build self-trust. When you stop cutting corners just because no one is watching, you build strength. When you practice habits in silence, you build depth. Self-trust is a rare kind of power. It changes how you walk, how you speak, how you face challenges. Because you're no longer pretending. You're not living from performance. You're living from truth. But the opposite is also true. When you constantly break promises to yourself, you carry that weight. It shows in your posture. In your voice. In your decisions. People think self-doubt comes from lack of ability. But much of it comes from lack of self-integrity, the quiet knowing that, I don't follow through when it matters. That's why private discipline matters more than public discipline. It's the foundation everything else stands on. The invisible training ground for the life you want to build. Ask yourself, who am I when the room is empty? Who am I when no one needs anything from me? Who am I when there is no reward or recognition? Because that version of you, the private one, is the one shaping your future. Number 8, tame the dopamine, rewire the reward. We live in a world designed to overstimulate you. Endless scrolling, instant entertainment, constant notifications, small hits of pleasure that require no effort. And the more you consume them, the more your brain becomes wired to chase the fastest, easiest reward. But the Stoics would ask, does this pleasure strengthen you or weaken you? Dopamine itself is not the enemy. It's the signal your brain uses to repeat behaviors. The problem is that modern life floods you with easy dopamine, spikes without effort. So when it's time to focus, learn, or stay present, your brain resists. It craves the quick hit instead of the meaningful reward. This isn't personal weakness. It's conditioning. Stoicism teaches the opposite pattern: choose rewards that build you, not hollow ones that drain you. Real satisfaction comes from completion, not escape. From mastery, not mindlessness. From consistency, not distraction. The moment you begin reducing cheap dopamine, your brain begins craving deeper wins. You start finding pleasure in finishing a task, in reading instead of scrolling, in spending time alone with your thoughts, in showing up for yourself instead of chasing validation. To rewire your rewards, you must redesign your environment. Put your phone away during deep work. Set boundaries with social media. Replace idle entertainment with intentional learning. End your day with reflection instead of noise. These aren't restrictions. They are acts of liberation. The more you choose meaningful effort over mindless consumption, the stronger your mind becomes. And eventually, what once felt difficult starts to feel natural. What once felt boring begins to feel peaceful. You begin craving the rewards that actually elevate you. Ask yourself, where am I seeking cheap highs? What habits distract me from my purpose? What would happen if I replaced shallow rewards with deeper ones? Your brain isn't broken. It's adaptable. And the same way it was trained into distraction, it can be trained into discipline. Number 9, structure is a form of mercy. Most people think structure is restrictive. That schedules are prisons. That routines kill freedom. But the opposite is true. Without structure, life becomes chaotic. Your mind becomes scattered. Your energy becomes pulled in every direction. The freedom you think you have becomes a trap. Structure, when done intentionally, is an act of kindness to yourself. It protects your peace. It guards your time. It creates space for clarity. Seneca said that life isn't short, we just spend much of it without direction. When you don't plan your day, the loudest thing wins. When you don't define your priorities, other people define them for you. When you don't set boundaries, everything becomes urgent. Structure doesn't kill spontaneity. It protects it. When your important work has its time and your mind has its order, you create more space for joy, creativity, and rest. Even creators and artists need structure. Not rigid hours, but sacred boundaries. Time for focus. Time for reflection. Time for stillness. Structure doesn't mean doing more. It means clearing what doesn't matter so what does matter has room to grow. Ask yourself, where do I need more structure? Where is my time leaking? Where am I overwhelmed because I refuse to create rhythm? A structured day is a merciful day. A structured mind is a peaceful mind. And structure done with intention doesn't restrain you, it frees you. Number 10, act like the person you are becoming. Every action you take is shaping a version of you. Not someday in the future, right now. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself. It's about embodying the identity you're growing into. If you want to become disciplined, act like someone who is disciplined. If you want to become calm, act with calmness even when you feel tense. If you want to become someone who follows through, act like it today, not when circumstances are perfect. Identity isn't something you wait for. It's something you practice. Marcus Aurelius didn't write to become virtuous. He wrote because he was practicing virtue daily. He was rehearsing the man he wanted to be. When you practice your future self, even in small ways, your brain begins to shift. Your emotions begin to shift. Your habits begin to shift. You don't become strong by thinking about strength. You become strong by showing up as someone strong, even when you doubt, even when you're tired, even when you're afraid. Ask yourself, what does the future version of me do daily? How do they speak? How do they act? How do they handle distractions? How do they carry themselves? Then begin doing it. Not perfectly. Consistently. You don't wait to feel like the person you want to be. You act like them until it becomes natural. Identity grows through repetition. Number 11, every minute is a brick in the temple of your life. You get 1,440 minutes every day. And every one of them builds something. Whether you're aware or not, your time is always constructing the architecture of your life. The Stoics valued time as sacred. Because everything else can be replaced, money, possessions, opportunities. But time spent is gone forever. Seneca said people guard their property, yet freely waste the one thing they can never get back. Every minute used intentionally becomes a brick that strengthens you. Every minute lost to distraction becomes a crack in your foundation. The small choices matter. Reading for 10 minutes a day. Planning your week. Reflecting at night. Focusing for half an hour. These small acts accumulate. They build walls, rooms, entire structures. The life you're living today is the result of the minutes you spent yesterday. Ask yourself, what am I building with my minutes? What patterns am I strengthening daily? Are my actions shaping the life I respect or the life I regret? The temple of your life is built slowly. Brick by brick. Decision by decision. Number 12, if you don't measure it, it's not growth. You can't improve what you don't track. And most people don't know whether they're growing or drifting because they never pause to check. They assume discipline is happening simply because they are trying. But growth requires clarity. If you're not measuring your efforts, you're relying on hope instead of awareness. The Stoics practiced self-examination daily. Marcus Aurelius asked himself at night, what did I do well? What did I fall short on? What can I improve tomorrow? That is measurement. That is accountability. Tracking isn't about controlling everything. It's about seeing your patterns clearly. It transforms vague effort into intentional action. It shows you what's working and what's not. It gives you the chance to adjust instead of repeating the same mistakes unconsciously. Measurement could be journaling. It could be a habit tracker. It could be weekly reflection. It doesn't need to be complicated. It needs to be honest. Ask yourself, where am I guessing instead of measuring? What habits am I assuming I'm consistent with, but rarely am? What parts of my discipline need clearer structure? Because what gets measured gets strengthened. And what stays vague begins to drift. Discipline is not control. It's alignment. It's the practice of choosing your values repeatedly, even when it's hard. It's not extremes. It's not perfection. It's not performing for the world. It's building a self you trust, quietly, steadily, intentionally. You don't need a dramatic transformation. You just need to return, again and again, to what matters. To the structure that supports you. To the habits that shape you. To the identity you're growing into. And if you're walking this path silently, without applause, without shortcuts, without the world noticing, remember, power grows in silence. Strength builds in quiet. This is Stoic quiet strength. This is power in silence. Keep showing up. Keep choosing intention. Keep building the life your future self will thank you for. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.